Hello and welcome to Lights on LA. I'm your host, Louise Gill. Today we are fortunate that we are going to be having an interview with our very own 43rd District Assembly member, Mike Gatto, who has been extremely instrumental for Armenians, and we are very happy that we will be doing an interview, and they gave us the ability to, and also with Mary Manoukian, who is a field representative. So please stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Lights on LA. I have the fortunate of having a beautiful young lady with me who represents the 43rd District, Assemblyman Mike Gatto's field representative, Miss Mary Manoukian. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Շատ ուրախ եմ, որ այսօր դուք ստեղ եք։ Ես Mary Manoukian եմ, Assemblyman Mike Gatto-ի ներկայացուցիչը։ Hi համայնքին։
Yes, շատ ուրախ եմ եւ շատ խաբավդ եմ, որ Assembly member picked an amazing representative like you. He did a good job. What is a field deputy representative, and what are your obligations and duties here at the office?
Okay. Assemblyman Gatto ներկայացնում է այն քաղաքները, որը որ շատ հայրենակիցներ են բնակվում, եւ որպես ինքը ցույց տա իր պաշտպանությունը եւ աջակցությունը հայ համայնքին, ես մասնակցում եմ եւ իր հետ մասնակցում եմ որևէ տեսակի միջոցառումներ կազմակերպած հայ կազմակերպությունների եւ մենք այդտենց առիթներ ենք մասնակցում եւ միջոցառումներ ենք մասնակցում եւ որպեսի նահանգի գրասենյակ մենք աշխատում ենք տարբեր պաշտոնյաների հետ, եթե մեր համայնքի անդամները դժվարություն են ունենում Կալիֆոռնիայի որևէ մի պաշտոնյայի հետ, կարող են կապնվել մեր գրասենյակին եւ իմ հետ խոսեն։
Ինչպես կարելի է, եթե կարելի է ծևին հեռախոսի թիվը եւ ուր է location-ը, եթե գուզեն հոսքան, do they need an appointment, մի քիչ եթե գվնասները անիկա եւ ինչ տեսակ հարցեր գվնակցուկ աճակցեք։ Merci.
Մեր հեռախոսի համարը 818 558 3043, մենք Burbank-ում ենք, մեր հասցեն 300 East Magnolia Boulevard, Suite 504, Burbank 91502. Եվ appointment պետք չի, կարող եք գաք եւ ինձ ուզեք, եթե անգլերենի խնդիր ունեք, ես ձեր հետ հայերեն կխոսեմ։ Եվ այո, appointment պետք չի, եթե մի հարց ունեք, կարող եք գաք մեր գրասենյակը եւ մենք կարող ենք օգնել նաեւ տեսակի հարցերով, այդ ովքեր դժվարություններ ունեն EDD, DMV, IHSS օֆիսների հետ, ինչպես նաեւ նահանգի պետական հարկերի հարցերով, նույնիսկ տարբեր տեսակի բողոքներ Կալիֆոռնիայի կառավարության հանդեպ։
Շատ merci. Մենք հիմա շատ խաբավդ ենք, որ պիտի ունենանք Mevin Assembly Mike Gatton, որ պիտի interview անեմ եւ շատ ուրախ եմ քեզի։ Մեկ բանը որ նշմավեցի compared to other assembly members, he is very involved with the Armenian community. He goes to a lot of the events. April 24th, I saw him at the United Armenian Youth Group. I'm sure that has a lot to do with you also, that of course we should say thank you to you, and I really do appreciate you giving me this time. On behalf of Lights on LA, on behalf of the Armenian community, if there's anything else that you would like to add to that, please tell our viewers.
Շատ շնորհակալ եմ այդ քո շատ սիրուն խոսքերից, բայց շատը գալիս է Assemblyman-ից։ Այո, ես եմ շատ իրան օգնում, բայց ինքը շատ է մեր հայերի հետ միշտ իրանց հետ է եղել եւ միշտ իրանց ամեն հարցով փորձել է օգնի։ Եվ նորից, եթե մի հարց ունեք, եթե մի Կալիֆոռնիայի հետ կապված մի բան չեք կարողանում դասավորեք, մի բան չգիտեք, խնդրում եմ ինձ զանգեք եւ ինձ ուզեք եւ ձեզ անպայման կօգնեմ։ Շատ շնորհակալ եմ Louise.
Շատ merci. I really thank you very much.
Thank you. Շատ շնորհակալ եմ եւ ինձ թվում է Assemblyman-ը շատ ուրախ կլինի այսօր որ դուք ստեղ եք եւ he's looking forward to speaking to you.
Thank you. Stay tuned, and we will be having an interview now with Assemblyman Mike Gatto. Thank you. I'm here right now with our wonderful Assembly member, Mike Gatto, 43rd District, and it is a huge honor for me, especially for Lights on LA and our Armenian community, to have you a part of the show. I thank you very much. First of all, let me have a little background of how you started, how you became a politician, how you became an assembly member, because that's a huge thing for being so young. And what district do you cover?
Sure. So, Louise, first of all, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be on Lights On, and it's an honor to be talking with the Armenian American community. I got my start in politics at a young age. My father used to always turn on the conventions, the conventions for president, and I got interested at a young age. But I was not working in politics when I ran for office. I was practicing law. I was a member of the world's most popular profession, which is lawyers. And of course, I say that sarcastically, but I found that I was reading the newspaper every morning and getting angry at how bad California was being managed. And, at some point, it's one thing to keep criticizing, but it's another thing to actually do something about it. So I decided that I was going to run for office. I wasn't given much of a chance to win, but by a weird combination of luck and the support of the community, I was able to make it. And so here I am.
I think that you are one of the youngest assembly members.
Yeah, I think I was when I got elected, but I've aged both physically and time-wise, and in this job you age geometrically, I think, as well. So I've got a lot more gray hairs than I did when I started, and it's a job that'll age you very, very quickly.
Well, you have a lot of pressure on you, and I really thank you for your time. 43rd District is what areas do you cover?
Sure. So the 43rd District it starts in Hollywood, and it goes through Hollywood and the community called Thai Town in Little Armenia, of course. We then go up into the Hollywood Hills and get Beechwood Canyon and those communities near the Hollywood sign and Lake Hollywood. And then it goes through Los Feliz, the Franklin Hills, Silver Lake, Atwater Village, Glendale, Burbank, La Cañada, La Crescenta, and the Angeles National Forest, all the way to the border of Palmdale. It's a big district. California has the biggest legislative districts in the country. It's just under 500,000 people.
Now, you have the hugest Armenian population. I have seen you at numerous events, and it is truly remarkable that you have taken the time to actually be a part of the Armenian community, and whether it's the Armenian Genocide and the Youth Armenian Federation and the Armenian groups that you have gone to. How do you do that?
Well, it's an honor to be welcomed into the community. I think so many members of the community have welcomed me into the community that I feel sometimes like I'm an honorary Armenian. Obviously, I think I'm of Italian heritage, and there's a certain kinship between a lot of old world cultures, and I think that my heritage and the Armenian people share a common sense of values. There's a lot of foods that are similar. There's certain religious things that are very similar. We all talk with our hands, but it's really been sort of a second home for me. I have terrific staff. Mary Manoukian obviously is at just about every event that I can't make it to, and it's really been wonderful. I mean, the community here is very vibrant. There are so many different organizations that give back to the community, not just the Armenian American community, but also the community as a whole. And everywhere I go, it seems like there's a young Armenian professional who is involved in the group, and it's really neat because this is one of Los Angeles's last, last communities that is still together and still cohesive. And Glendale and to a lesser extent, Hollywood are really ground zero.
You talked about similarities with the Italian, the Armenian. I have to also do mention that you have a wonderful family, and I do appreciate the fact that that's something that you have family values, which makes you even a better assemblyman and somebody that, reaches out to family and the values and the cultures and different ethnic backgrounds. What is a role of an assembly member for those of us that do not know what you do on a daily basis, which is, I'm sure, a lot. But
it is. It's a lot of people. One of my colleagues was at the airport, and he was talking with somebody, and someone came up to him and said, "What do you do?" And he said, "Oh, I'm an assemblyman." And he thought he was so happy to be recognized for being famous. And the person said, "What is it that you assemble?" So I mean, I guess the short answer is we set all of the laws for the state of California, and what that means is we're sort of like Congress for the state of California. In Europe, I guess the equivalent would be like a regional parliament, but we set all the laws for the state of California and also the California budget. So this is everything from how much money the state spends on higher education, how much money the state spends on our schools, how much money the state spends on programs like Medi-Cal and Medicaid. Those are all set by the California legislature. But also, we also pass California law. So, an example of a California law, of course, one that everybody's familiar with, is that you can't talk on your cell phone in your car while it's driving. So those are examples of things that we do, plus just about everything else that you can imagine that governs day-to-day life in California.
Since you've been in office, what kind of legislation have you been involved with or passed?
My overarching theme for legislation is, that I want to pass laws that affect the average person. There's a lot of people in public office, I think, who lose sight of what it means to represent people. They start thinking that they represent groups, special interest groups. And if you ever watch a session of the legislature, it's really fascinating because, people will get up and give a speech about a bill, and it's so apparent that this benefits only one special interest group. And the people are often the last to get any benefits. So the laws that I try to pass are ones that just make good common sense to the people of the state of California. This year, for example, I had a small business owner. He owned a cafe, very popular cafe. He started to get demands for very, very frivolous or meritless lawsuits being filed against him. He came to me and he said, this is outrageous. I'm just trying to do business. I haven't broken any laws. Can you do something to change this law that makes small businesses subject to these very costly lawsuits? And we were able to get something done for him. I also, this year, we got passed and signed into a law that said that cities can't ticket you if you're at a broken parking meter. This is stuff that...
I was just about to tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that affect everybody's day-to-day lives. I've tried to focus on things that improve traffic conditions, because when it comes down to it, we all want to be home with our families. We all want to get where we're going more quickly. And I think government ignores all these hassles that people go through, and I just try not to ignore them.
As an assembly member, I noticed that also, and I was going to mention that, and I had that question for you. How is it that you reach out so much for our constituents here in your area? I mean, in a very timely manner, with the pension costs and with the parking meters, the unfunctional ones. It's really amazing. How do you do that?
Well, thank you. I think it's the source of ideas. We get ideas from everybody. When I go and speak before a group, I always ask, is there any legislative ideas you have? Please give them to me. We read every bit of correspondence we get. There's a lot of offices that just sort of ignore it. The best ideas I get come from regular people. I mean, and I think if you get ideas from people and you make your ideas applicable and affecting the lives of people, then the people will take notice. And hopefully the media does too. And before you know it, there's a movement and you actually get something done.